Taking a section of prose, be it from a novel or a short story, is a very popular starting point for devising theatre. Many successful and exciting plays started life as novels or stories. For my example here, I'm going to be using this opening extract of 1984 by George Orwell. So here are some activities to get you started using a piece of prose as a devising stimulus. Use the whole source text. Our first obvious idea here is to look beyond the extract and use the whole of the source text in our piece. You could adapt and edit the whole story into a short piece of theatre. This might seem somewhat overwhelming, so you could pick one section and just focus on that. Novels or stories, if directly transferred to the stage, would have a running time of hours upon hours. When novels are adapted for film or TV, there are often many cuts or trims to the story. This goes for theatrical adaptations too. If the stimulus extract interests you, get reading the whole text. You can then start making lists of the most interesting or exciting moments and get staging them. Extract the location. Another idea is to just use the location of your prose extract. Is it set in a garden, a jungle, a shop, or a city? Take this location and start making a scene that's set there. Could this location be the central setting for your whole piece? In 1984, the opening section places Winston Smith, the lead character, in a place called Victory Mansions. This is where he lives, and there's lots of description about this place. I can use all of this description to help realise this location and think about what scenes or stories I could set there. My devised piece could be about all the different people that live at Victory Mansions. This would be diverting away from the original story, but we're still keeping that location and telling a new story in that place. Use the character. The next idea is to just use the main character or protagonist from your extract. You may want to tell a similar story to the original source material, or you can take the character out and create a new story for them. In 1984, I could use Winston Smith, who is 39 years old, in the novel, but instead I can put this character in a different story, maybe one that explores his younger life or his teenage years. The devised piece could then serve as a sort of prequel to the story that's told in the novel. Story within the story. You may want to use the stimulus extract in the context of your piece. What I mean by this is that you may want a character in your story to actually read the extract and it affect them in some way. As an example, I could create a piece about a young woman set in London in the near future. In the story, she could read 1984 and it inspires her to stand up and fight the government and the totalitarian state. Could your character read or discover this extract at a pivotal point in their story? In my example, perhaps she's feeling downtrodden and beaten by the world around her, but then she discovers 1984 and it turns her world around. So we're using the stimulus story within our own story, and it's affecting the characters directly. Extract the narrator. Most prose text uses the form of a narrator or a speaker, i.e. someone in the novel is speaking directly to you. You could use this idea in a theatrical form and have a narrator in your piece. This idea opens many creative storytelling doors. Does the narrator need to be one character, or could it be an ensemble of narrators? One of the joys of prose text is that there can be incredible detail, description, and access to the character's inner thoughts at any time. In drama, this idea is a little bit more challenging because dialogue is our primary storytelling device. But by using a narrator, just like prose does, you're opening up all sorts of possibilities where we can access the inner thoughts of our characters and look at the description and detail that prose does so successfully. List the senses. Prose is crammed full of sensory imagery and description. A really interesting starting point is to go through your extract and list every reference to sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. Once you've listed all of these, have a think about how you can stage some of these ideas. In my 1984 extract, I have these: hearing, clock striking; smell, boiled cabbage and old rag mats. Sight, large coloured poster on the wall. Touch, the pain of the varicose ulcer on Winston's ankle. Taste, the swirl of gritty dust blowing in and probably going in Winston's mouth. I could try and capture these senses through the actor's performance who plays Winston. Or I could use narration to describe these sensory images. Or I could use set, sound and lighting design. Suddenly, we're theatricalising the words on the page and making them three-dimensional for a live audience. Extract a statement. You could look at the whole source text in its entirety, or you could look at one sentence or phrase. In my extract, I think the most resonant sentence is "Big Brother is watching you." This has lots of connotations and ideas behind it. And from this one sentence, I can start creating ideas for a devised piece. Can I make a piece of movement that encapsulates this sentence? Is there a piece of music I could use? Is there another piece of text, a poem, or an image that encapsulates this sentence? I'm not having to concern myself with the characters, the location, or the story of the extract in any way at all. Instead, I'm just focusing on one line from it and opening up all sorts of creative avenues to start making work. And there we go. 7 activities to use on your devising stimulus, which is a piece of prose text. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you, please give it a like. Do check out these other videos and subscribe. And if you want to support what I do on the channel, you can click on the link in the video description. All the best.